Oh my freaking god. Hello guys, what is up? It is your boy Prince of What Is back here with the 10th part of What If Luffy was Yuta's Reincarnation. And to let y'all know, I'll be doing the rest of this entire series in premieres. So if you want to get there early, I will premiere this so you can at least get there in time. For those of you who always feel like you're getting in late. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy. This series is going to be a roller coaster, especially the last two parts after this one are going to be amazing. It's just constant fighting, developing the world like it was in the original. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Without any further ado, let's get into the recap. So we last began with Yuta finding out who Luffy's father is. He promises to help him out. They break out of Impel Down, head to Ace, but they're still inside Impel Down. But they go for Ace, he's gone, so instead they take Jinbei and Crocodile with them and start a massive prison break. Zoro ends up meeting Blackbeard on the way, proceeds to annihilate him and his entire crew, and then they leave Impel Down for good, dive into a war, and head for Ace, and Luffy would save him while his crew also show off their powers. Zoro fights and actually hurts Mihawk. Luffy uses domain expansion, taking on all the Marine Admirals, while he also gets exposed as the Son of Dragon. After this, he gets Ace, and then they leave, and a time skip occurs as the Scouts get stronger. They continue to travel over the next 2 years, they don't stop. Ace is then given the technique by Luffy, giving him the same powers as Jogo since he is the embodiment of fire in this world. He's also known as the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates now, as you know, Whitebeard is just gone for now. They get a distress call, head to Punk Hazard, with one side meeting Brownbeard, which he runs away in fear with his people. Some meet Law and Smoker, head inside, and it ends with the same experimented kids being saved, and everyone gathering somewhere safe, this time being a curtain, and Chopper says they've been made to rely on a certain candy that they kept talking about, and Luffy had to knock them out. Going a few minutes later, we cut to Law talking with Caesar inside the lab base. The Straw Hats are here? What? Why? You seem panicked. Why aren't you panicked? He's an emperor. Because he won't hurt me. I've done nothing against him, Law said. You know what kind of guy he is. But the people you've partnered up with, well, Caesar in anger would then point a gun to him. Did you call him here? Meanwhile, the Straw Hats found and interrogated Brownbeard, who said that Caesar is considered a hero here to all as he fixed them up, and Law, who was allied with him, replaced their ruined legs with animal ones. If you don't remember, due to a previous experiment by Vegapunk, a gas spread through the place that made people lose use of their legs. They became very disabled. So yeah. After seeing these kids like this, you think that bastard's your savior? Chopper yells. You're the one who didn't let them get their daily dose. You put them in this situation, Bradbeard said, as he was tied to a giant pillar, by the way, in the same curtain that we saw the pirates last. It's no use, Luffy said. He's blinded. At that moment, a hand then goes through the curtain as everyone turns to see Trafalgar return, and in an instant, Sanji grabs him by the neck and lifts him up. You let that sick bastard hurt these kids? As he struggles to talk, Luffy says to let him down, and Sanji does, as Law would then land saying, yes, I let him, but I was never with him. I was waiting for an opportunity like this. What opportunity, you filthy pirate, yells Kiyomon, and give me back the rest of my body, damn it. I want to make an alliance with you. Give me back my body. Later. Will you listen to me? Trafalgar asks. Luffy can tell by his aura that Law isn't a bad guy despite being a pirate, but the fact that he went this far must be for something he really wants, and with a sigh he talks. Yet tell me your plan, Zoro. Yeah? I need you to kill Caesar for me. No, leave her master alone, yells Brownbeard. And Trafalgar actually says that they can't kill him, and he's needed for the plan, just for a while, to take down the 4 emperors. And this surprises them all. This decoration is very dangerous, but now they're kind of interested, and Law can tell. Capture him alive, please. Once we get him, we can have an edge. Just for a little bit. Then I ain't gonna go, Zoro said. I don't know how to hold back against people like that. I'll be back, Luffy said. Set a new curtain rule and don't let anyone who isn't from our alliance in. With a nod, they would then say, okay. Luffy would then walk out. When he sees the Yeti brothers, you were obviously about to attack them. And they were out cold. They were cut in half. Yeah, he's not that bad of a guy, Luffy said. He would then disappear with his lightning. And by this point, Caesar has released his infamous slime that we all saw. And it spreads and grows with every devoured victim. It also detonates itself, parts of itself that it splits off, even surprising Sanji, Frankie, Kiyomon, as they later leave to get the samurai the rest of his body back, and he finally trusts them after that. But he of course cuts the flames that are up, coming up at them. Usopp, Brook, and Robin go explore, while Nami and Chopper stay with the kids. Zoro goes and actually doesn't get lost. If I haven't said this before, for those of you who don't know, the effect of Heavenly Restriction has made his senses so enhanced that he cannot get lost anymore, and he loves it. Luffy, meanwhile, appears in Caesar's lab, his room place, while he is talking with Virgo and Monet. There you are, Luffy said, with him then landing when in the blink of an eye, Virgo moves in with a punch as he coats his entire body in haki. I just need to get one hit in, just one. As strong as he is, he's still human, Virgo thought. However, Luffy blocks his punch, sending him into distress, whereas he then explodes with lightning and Virgo would scream, but Monet grabs and flies off with Caesar. If he even sees you use your fruit, we're screwed, so hold back, master. Appearing before her down the hallway, though, he kicks her in the face as she is sent flying back into the room, while Caesar would fall and Luffy does as well, and the pirate would then kneel down. I'm gonna take you hostage. Wait, I know Kaido. He's an ally. What is the obsession with names with you people? I don't care. Striking him on the neck with haki, he knocks him out and grabs him as he then falls, as he's falling, he catches him. Currently, though, that slime Caesar had released had fused with a smile fruit and exploded into a gas that everyone had to escape. Luckily, they do, even the kids make it, but by this point, no one who saw the destruction had any faith in the scientists anymore, as some knew that the slime, was very destructive, and they also knew that Caesar was making it. So they saw their comrades die, being frozen from the gas, which floods the entire place. But those who weren't outside and weren't hurt still blindly follow Caesar. Also, Caesar is still broadcasting this all to the brokers, and they would see Caesar's plan be ruined as Luffy had taken one of the most powerful partners. But it's Luffy. All they can do is cut out the call because it was over for the scientist. As Kid does the same, he says, yeah, hell no, I'm good. If that bastard tells me to die, I might actually just die. He's that crazy. It's a good thing that he's not coming after me. Meanwhile, as he walks around, Luffy actually picks up and meets Momonosuke, who he lets ride on his shoulders because he's in his dragon form. He can't really control himself very well. And Luffy asks, "You feel like you can walk now?" No. Sorry, Luffy. Don't know. Nah, don't stress it. You're a kid. You don't need to feel bad. You hear me? Okay. You're really yeah. I'm really a pirate. I have 3 billion on my head. That's so awesome. You must be really influential. With a prideful look, Luffy says he is, of course, influential. Right as he then sees from a corner Kiyomon run in, and upon seeing him, Momonosuke is so happy that he transforms back into a human. Momonosuke? Father! As he's let down, he then runs and hugs Kiyomon, who asks what happened to him. Momonosuke said that he ate a devil fruit because he was just that hungry. I'm so glad you're alive. Oh, but you're naked. Here. He gives him some Wano clothes using his devil fruit powers and smiles, saying that it suits him very well. Thank you, Straw Hat. I can never thank you enough. Luffy walks and helps him up as he's about to bow, saying it's good to see you back together. I've always wanted to see an actual samurai. What happens after this is that the kids are fixed by Trafalgar, and those who still believe in the doctor in the end are forced to realize that the man didn't really care about them. They apologize to the kids, but of course forgiveness isn't something as simple as that. The kids can say they forgive them, but they're kids, they don't know what forgiveness even is yet, and they have to grow themselves and change. But a party still happens after the gas passes a bit. Sanji would use his female Shikigami to pass out food within a curtain. By the way, Shikigami look human, tall, all blonde, but when they're smiling, they have these sharp teeth and they look more terrifying. But honestly, they're hot because Sanji, of course, wanted them to be, and they wear the same suits as him, but more proportional to their size. Thank you, lassie, said Brownbeard. Where did these girls come from? From me, Sanji says, wanting to say anything more. Bursting into laughter, the man calls him bizarre, and Sanji says to shut up and just eat his food, and so they do, and Trafalgar comes to sit beside Luffy. Straw Hat, you need to leave very soon. Doflamingo won't attack you because he knows how weak he is in comparison, but we should save time. Come on, let's stay for a while. Smoker at this point would then walk and sit beside the pirate and ask, "You're really gonna attack the Emperors?" "I can't believe you're talking to me," Luffy said. "First time we fought, you healed my men. I won't chase you this time." With a laugh, Luffy says he's very arrogant considering he can knock them all out regardless. But you won't because that's how you are. Yeah, you're not wrong. Hey, Usopp, don't take all the meat. He runs and screams for the best piece of steak and everything that Sanji's making, and Smoker says good luck to Trafalgar. I hope you know what you've gotten yourself into. Trafalgar simply eats his food in silence, and moments later the kids are being taken away by Smoker's group G5, and they have already boarded a ship, but with these two groups so close, the Marines feel like they need to draw a line between these criminals to them, literally. Straw Hat, that line is not to be crossed. It's the boundary between good and evil. Alright, I completely understand. Stop being so nice about it, damn it. When he's not funny, he looks like a normal guy. Yo, is that you giving a pirate props, I hear? Aw, damn it. Brooks, stop it. Please take care of them, Luffy said. After everything that happened, it'd be a waste if you didn't, right? With these calm words, he leaves the Marine speechless as he cares more about the children than their own natural rivalry, good and evil. And as the stars begin to leave, though, the kids will yell and scream for them, asking where they were. Stop it. Listen, pirates are evil. Evil. You can't like them. You can't. But we asked them to save us, and they did. Almost in tears, the kids didn't want to hate pirates if that means hating them. No one ever came to this empty island, but they did. They helped us. We want to say goodbye. No! Stop at this instant. Tashiki said. It's deplorable. How could you point guns at civilians, much less kids? The men in G5, however, say that if they don't keep talking crap about these pirates, then we'll have to admit that we actually like these bastards. Even though they're pirates, we like these lawless, annoying people. As they cry even more than they were before while talking about this speech, Smoker would just facepalm, while Tashiki laughs, as do Brownbeard and his men, and the kids just wave goodbye, and they say that they become pirates, but the Marines say, now wait a minute, don't you dare. With a laugh, the Strides will then head off and board their ship and say goodbye while taking Momonosuke, Trafalgar, and Kiemon. And Caesar, who Luffy wraps up in cursed charms with the seal. And Kiemon said, these writings, they're similar to the ones in Wano. Luffy, don't know, do you? No, I'm not from Wano. I came from the East Blue, the pirate said, as he then stood straight, saying that these seals are unbreakable. But I did study things related to Wano while making my techniques. I guess that makes you our brother of sorts. I never knew I could actually meet someone with so much knowledge about our culture, said Kiemon. Maybe we'll get there someday, but right now, we're going to Dressrosa, Nami said, as she then grabs a tool from her pouch, which would then come in the form of glasses alike to what Nanami wears, and activating them while putting them on. She sees miles ahead with the tool, estimating how long it's going to take to get to Dressrosa. We'll arrive in about 3 hours if we haul last, she said, and she would then put it away and tell Frankie where to head to. He changes their direction while he activates new additions added to the Sunny via his technique, and they're then pushed forward from below by propulsors. I don't know how to say that. You know what I'm trying. They're like rockets, I guess. And then he puts Sunny on autopilot because he can do that now. And he then makes it to the deck and takes a seat with Trafalgar explaining why he had them take Caesar and how it relates to Kaido. With a huge grin, Zoro would say, "We're fighting that monster, huh?" Kaido? Kiemon and Momonosuke? What's wrong? Chopper asked. Oh, it's nothing. Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay then, does anyone have any objections? Luffy asked, and they all say it's been a while since they've had actually any challenges, and their techniques are getting a bit rusty, so they don't care. Speaking of that, since we are in an alliance, I will need to know what you can specifically do, if you don't mind, that is, Trafalgar asked. They don't really mind though, and tell him all their powers, which the government has been trying to pinpoint exactly for 2 years, and yet they still couldn't do it. And now that Rika was out, and Trafalgar was up close to this creature while Luffy was explaining his powers, he realized why she was so revered as such a powerful creature in Alabasta, which is basically considering her a deity now. They actually think of her as a sort of god. It's actually crazy. It's kind of expected you're speechless, Usopp said. I'm more concerned about your limitations, Trafalgar said. Oh, I can control probability and change my own body, but objects takes a lot more energy to mess with. I'm still getting the hang of it, Usopp said. And did you copy my ability? Trafalgar asked. I still need to see it, so no. Don't worry, I won't. Against these monsters, you actually might have to. I could just tell them to die. Wait, are you serious right now? No. That's taboo. Don't get my hopes up like that, Straw Hat. Nah, sorry. If I could kill everyone with these words, then there wouldn't be a world government anyway. That's terrifying, they all think. Momo then says, I didn't know you could be so ruthless, Luffy don't know. I haven't cursed anyone like that. It's disrespectful to the fight. At that moment, a ring would then go off as Trafalgar would then bring out a receiver and accept a call. Monkey D. Luffy, let's talk. The Flamingo, Trafalgar said. I guess you really are desperate. What do you want, Luffy asked. I'm a businessman. I want us to be on good footing. But if you don't agree with my word, that's alright. I just want some peace. If you wanted peace, then you shouldn't have let those kids suffer, Chopper yells. As he grits his teeth in anger, Chopper would then say that he's never been more mad at a pirate, with him then saying, I'll beat you to a pulp myself. Surprised by the shift in the cheery reindeer, Trafalgar sees that they all have the same sentiment, and he's seen Chopper in action. He's terrifyingly strong, also because he has recently shown new abilities. In anger, Luffy would then say, alright, I guess we have no choice but to fight. Don't worry, I'm not gonna curse you, Luffy said. I'll kill you. It's only fair, right? As he begins to shiver, the warlord will then hang up, with Luffy saying they should hurry, and they all nod as he then looks to Momo asking, why did you and your father set out? Just asking. The two are surprised by this, but they can both tell that they just can't lie to this guy, and Kimo would then take a seat saying, I cannot tell you everything, please forgive me, but I would never betray you, Luffy Dono. You've shown me reason not to. Well, it's nothing that serious, but you're gonna be here, then we're gonna have to train your son. Pretty dangerous enemies ahead. I was thinking of giving you part of my power. Oh, you're gonna give a kid cursed energy, Brook asked? Is that safe? I'll be as strong as you guys, Momo asked, and Luffy would say, it depends on your potential, or you can trade it for heavenly restriction. What's that? Alright, my technique operates on emotion, and it gives me the power to reinforce my body, bones, everything. It gives me a special power, but Zoro will trade it all for a body of steel, or whatever he's made out of now, Luffy said. If I use it on someone with the devil fruit, the result is they lose all that power, and the fruit, everything is gone. They lose it for ultimate strength. Learning this from Luffy leaves the three surprised, this including Trafalgar, as it now makes more sense why Zoro has become so abnormally strong. Is it always guaranteed you'll be as strong as him, Trafalgar asked. No, Zoro's just not normal. I'll take that as a compliment. He meant you suck, said Sanji. Your Shikigami literally show how pervy you are, and your restrictions show how much of a meathead you are. They begin to stare down, almost ready to fight, but Kima then think about this and say to do it. And Momo agrees instantly, as he does not want to be a burden. Looks like you got a student on your hands, Zoro, Frankie said. Stupid cook. Hey, you're a samurai, right? Yes, I will learn everything, and whatever you want to teach me, whatever you can teach me. We will now cut to Dressrosa. We're at Corrida Coliseum. A roaring crowd fills the seats and stomps with excitement. Whether it's a toy or a human, they came to spectate as the Yami Yami no Mi was the prize for winning the tournament this time. Yeah, the fruit that once belonged to the rising Blackbeard, massacred by the Straw Hat Pirate Roronoa Zoro, the power of darkness is present. As the announcer says this, the cheers only rise more and more, with him introducing the fighters, the main important fighters, that being Singer Pink, Dillinger, Lao Ji, Machvis, Diamante, all from the Dofi family. Yeah, get it started already. We want to see some blood. In the stands will be Fujitora, who is here to investigate Luffy and Law's alliance, which has been spread to the world courtesy of G5, because they have to report it regardless. And meanwhile, in the waiting rooms, the gladiators and fighters were gathered, getting ready, as we then see two old men taking a seat on some bench. And Sabo would say, you know for a fact he's coming, right? Yeah, I sense his curse. You think I can misplace that stuff? I think it's just a little bit bizarre, you know? Hello, Luffy. Yeah, remember the first time we met him, he said? We'll now have another flashback, and we cut to see Luffy arrive, saving Sabo and Ace from Pork and Meat with a kick to the pirate's face. The pirate then crashed to the floor as Luffy holds down his hat and faces Pork and Meat's underlings. I won't let you touch even a hair on these two, he said. Ace is left shocked, much like Sabo, as the underlings and Pork and Meat will then look to their leader, and he's bleeding out, causing them to run off in fear, while Luffy will then turn to face the two, looking worried. You guys okay? I didn't need you to jump in, Ace said. Oh, sorry. You're lying though, right? As he walks off, Sabo would then say they don't have time to talk. They'll come back. Thanks for the help though. Can I join you? As Sabo goes to say something with hate in his eyes, Ace would then say that he's suspicious. What reason do you have to help us anyway? Well, it's kind of lonely here. I wanted some friends and I don't really have any. The two are dumbfounded by this reason to face dangerous pirates, with Sabo then saying, really? What, I can't have friends? Bursting into laughter, Sabo would then say, this kid's fun. Let's bring him in. He's strong anyway. The name's Sabo. Okay, I'm Luffy. Don't just tell him stuff like that, Ace said. Lighten up. We almost just died. Come on, Luffy. We then return to present time with Sabo laughing at how petty Ace used to be, and Ace would then say that he wasn't that bad, whereas they then overshadowed by a giant gladiator. What are a couple of geezers doing here? As he seized with anger, some gladiators try to calm him down as the man then throws a punch, but then Sabo would then catch the attack with their chairs shattering from the pressure and leave some shock. Chair, bench, same thing. Come on, little man, can't we all just get along? With Sabo saying this, he swings and slams him to the floor, crushing his face in, and it's just so surprising to see this strength being displayed by such a small old man compared to this big guy. A little too much testosterone, eh? You gotta be mindful, Ace said. Yeah, says the guy who's taking a vacation from leading his crew, Sabo said. Okay, it's just for today. Is today gonna be just making fun of me? Maybe. But then as the fighters are riled up, a guard would then come saying that they're disqualified for fighting before the match even began, but then Chin Zhao's family steps up, telling the man to back off, as they didn't really start anything. Do your freaking job, seriously, Sai said, as he and his brother named Boo, by the way, chase away the guards, and those present are in awe of their presence because, well, they're very important people. Thanks for the help, man, they said. Nah, don't thank us, I said. Actually, wait, take that back! In a bizarre explosion of emotion, he yells for him to take that back, while Boo has to hold them back, and their father is just kind of looking aloof. Sorry, he gets really worked up too fast, Boo says. It's okay. Thanks for the help. I'll kill him! He reaches for them again, with Sabo and Ace just laughing because, like, that's just weird. Why would you hate someone for thanking you? But that's how he is, if y'all don't remember. Sai is weird like that, bro. And by this time, the Straw Hats have arrived, with them already garnering attention because they weren't wearing any costumes or hiding anything. They don't care. There are a bunch of toys walking everywhere. Awesome. Don't get you distracted, Frankie says to Chopper. Alright, we're here to destroy Doflamingo. While Nami, Zoro, Momonosuke, Caesar, and Brook were on the ship because Zoro was training Momo. You know, he had gotten heavily restricted already. Luffy, Chopper, Frankie, Kiemon, Usopp, Trafalgar, Sanji, and Robin were the ones currently on Dressrosa. If I missed anyone, you know who was supposed to be there. They're still there. What about your crew, by the way, Robin asked. Well, we'll finish up and then we'll meet them. They're at Zhao. Alright then, I guess you better hurry up. Guys, split up. But then now they all disappear at incredible speed and the citizens become horrified and mass panic already begins as the Emperor has arrived, and this may mean the end for them all. Usopp, Trafalgar, and Robin split up as they reach the inhabited forest named Greenbit, and this time Law is alone with Robin and Usopp meeting the Tontatas or the dwarves. However, at the beach of Greenbit, Trafalgar is intercepted by Fujitora and his group. An admiral? No, I expected this, Trafalgar said. I'm a newcomer to the Marines, so I'll admit I don't know what's going on, said Fujitora, but I've got some information that suggests you've broken some rules. What, for forming an alliance with the Straw Hats? What the hell are you going to do about it? These words scare them, as they know even with Fujitora they will not be able to win, and Fujitora said, I never met the captain, but it's my duty. Yo ho 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 ho, coming through. As his voice is heard from the sea, we then see Brook running, and he would then crash, leaving them at a loss for words before he then stands posing as he says, I apologize for such an entrance. It's the soaking. Shoot him. Right as they attack, Brook would then take out his violin and dodge their attacks while playing a melody that catches Fujitora and everyone's attention, and they begin to sway back and forth in a morbid way, and this causes a giant undead to crawl out and surround them. Shall we make her escape? The skeleton said, with him then exploding with cursed energy and running into the forest while the undead claw towards the Marines. But Fujitora would then manage to get his bearings and stop the strike with his devil fruit ability and his sword. Such an overwhelming feeling of misery, but it's not enough, he said, with him then releasing a slash that blows away the undead and this feeling of misery, and it would disappear, and they feel relieved, but then the undead would just simply rise again, and they start to feel more morbid. What, didn't Captain use hockey? Oh my god, we're gonna die, we're just gonna die here. As Brook runs to the forest, Trafalgar is running with them and asks what's going to happen if they're, the undead are beaten. And Brook would then say, it doesn't matter unless they eliminate that feeling of fear that I've drawn out of them. It won't disappear, and my Shikigami just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. An explosion would then go off at that moment, with that giant roar being heard, and Trafalgar would then ask to be let down. He's like let's say that he's carrying Trafalgar, because he was just running out, and he activates his room saying, I get it. It's the perfect way to keep him occupied. Yep. Yo ho ho ho. The two would then disappear, switching places with rocks, and back at the ship, we see Momo's blade at the head of Yola, who had just tried to attack the ship in surprise. Ah, good job, Momo, Nami said. Not good enough, you hesitated. Just compliment him, Nami said, with her then saying that, he's still just a kid, but Momo would then turn around bowing. He still had to help me, I'll do better. Alright then, time for a new training method, said Zoro. Can you cast the curtain? Nami would then say sure, asking why. And Zoro says they're gonna fight at Dressrosa, which frees out Momo, but Nami would simply sigh, saying, well, I can't stop him, so good luck, Momo. What do you mean? I meant I'll do better in our spars. Grabbing him up, however, Zoro would then leap through the curtain, as when he touches the sea, he then runs on it and lands ashore, leaving Momo completely enamored as he yells, asking how he did that. And Nami would then fly in and land with her tool named Hermes, if I didn't tell y'all. Actually, she doesn't fly, she kicks the air and then creates a foothold and essentially runs on air, much like Skywalk. And she would say that she and Zoro would protect him, so it's okay. Really? No, Zoro said, freaking out Momo, with Nami then punching him on the head and saying to stop being so, harsh. Hey, set me free then, Caesar yells. God damn it, let me out. As the scientist screams with tears in his eyes, all he wants is just to stretch a little bit, and now he's in a prison of cursed energy that Nami has made inescapable, because that's how the curtain works. And we will now go to Luffy, who runs through the city, now barren from scared citizens, with them heading to Don Quixote family's castle. And as he nears the King's Plateau, he senses something, and the surrounding homes are then turned to strings. Raising his blade, Luffy would then block an attack coming from the front, digging his feet into the ground, with the other attacks then coming from around him. And awakened, he said, as he's then skewered, but then he disappears into a flash of lightning, right as a gigantic golem would then rise from the ground, covering itself in hockey and slapping Luffy, who was up in the air like a small fly. But Pika uses all his strength, and this releases a shockwave so strong that it levels buildings and buildings. The elite officers of the Joker and the Joker himself, who were gathered at the tournament, left just to come here, because obviously this is way more important. Did you get him? Diamante asked. Don't jinx the shit, yells Luffy, right as the fingers of the stone golem are then ripped apart by Luffy's sword, and they all get on guard as he yells, plummet. They're then hit by the command and plummet to the ground as the supreme hockey color, whatever, is imbued into this command, making it even more destructive. Rika would then form with her clawing at the stone Pika's head before then screaming and splitting him apart while covering her hands in hockey. The giant golem would then break to nothing, but the queen senses something and then sees something moving underground, almost like a worm. Go take care of him, Luffy said. With a nod, he and Rika would then split up, with Luffy then flying to the castle with anger, because since the moment he actually came here, though he mastered these dolls, these so-called dolls, seemingly living their best lives, have been screaming in anger, sadness, and it's all aimed at one person named Sugar, who is forcing them to act the way they're acting. You fucking bastards, he thought. However, as he flew to the castle, hearing the voice of a scared Sugar, from behind, giant tendrils or strings followed behind as a screaming Luffy would then swing and throw them at him. Don't ruin my kingdom, Straw Hat. With the turn, however, Luffy would then ready his blade as it explodes with light, catching Doffy off guard, and the Emperor would then thrust, blowing away all his strings, with Doffy then being forced to reinforce himself with Haki as he's blown far off, while his attacks are disintegrated. Quickly, Luffy would then fly off, while by this point Rika had killed Pika, who was running away, and the king would then drop into the castle as he destroys everything in his way until he reaches the officer's tower. Before him are many guards, but these guards were toys forced to work here, and they were forced to run forward and attack Luffy, and Luffy heard their anguish, making him put away his blade as he held his hand out, releasing a beam. This would be the same beam that Foxy used on him years ago, bringing everyone to a slow-mo movement. "I'll set you free, I promise," he said, with him taking to the sky and chasing after Sugar and Treble. As this destruction goes on, the same happens at the Colosseum, where Ace and Sabo have already shown their true abilities, and Sabo has taken the fruit for the final fight. It's really him. Fire-faced Ace? Who's the other guy? Bartolomeo almost cried seeing the Storm Brothers of Luffy, and the entire stadium shook as the two landed on the stage full of beaten warriors, and those watching the block fight don't really know what to do. These people are scary, and they start to realize that this is Sabo. Like, some people know him, like he's dangerous. The announcer is then about to say something when in a poof, his doll companion turns human. As everyone looks at their doll, dolls in the stand begin to turn human, with one of the dolls looking to a woman he was meant to be the butler of. And then, when he turns back to his human form, the woman said, "Honey." Looking at himself, the man finally regained his memories and control of himself, and his tears begin to fill his eyes as he hugs his wife. Slowly, those in the stands regain their memories stolen from them by Sugar, who Luffy has already killed. Also, Sugar is not a child. She just looks like one, so chill out in the comments. Honestly, it makes her even more annoying. She looks deceptively weak, and I hate Sugar. God, she's annoying. So, Rebecca, who watched from the sides, had tears coming down her face as she finally remembered her father Kairos, the statue of that forgotten warrior so great that everyone still does remember him somehow. She remembers him, and the same warrior would then return to his true form as he's talking with Robin, Usopp, and Frankie, and the dwarves. People were still kind of running away in fear of Ace, like, they were outside by now, saw dolls turn human, and saw those dolls turn into Dressrosian warriors, government agents, like they were in the streets, they were still running from Luffy, people like that as well. They even saw pirates or violent animals, just giant destructive things. And at the port towns, like every single toy returned to their original form, causing mass panic at some places and happiness at others. And in total, it's just complete chaos. And all these people had one thing in common: they wanted Doffy's head on a fucking pike, and they spread the word about him being evil and just essentially being Doffy. "Dude, you're human?" Usopp yells, with Kairos then looking at himself and being flabbergasted, but the Tontatas would then be happy and be in tears as they jump to him and say they're happy that he's back. "This means Luffy Land's done it?" Leo asked. "Yeah, probably," Usopp said. I guess we don't have to do much, huh? All the transformed toys forced to work at the officer tower will be returned to humans right as Luffy would then cancel the slow-mo effect, and they fall to the ground in shock. They look at themselves and look at each other. They see family, friends, they give each other hugs, and then they hear a voice. Turning back to see Luffy. "I'm so glad you guys are alive. You are busted." He releases a bubble of transparent energy that began to heal their wounds as he ran past him, saying that he has something to do. "You can leave safely. No one's going to stop you." "Wait, who are you?" "Yeah, what's your name?" "Oh, I'm Luffy. Let's meet again." He would then make his way down a hallway and see the Smile Factory, which we then peer into to see some dwarves being whipped to work harder. One of them would drop as they try to push a cart of Smile Fruits, and the person's brother would then come and help them up as the supervisor would then come asking him to get up. "Please, can't you just let him rest a little bit more?" "Oh, but if you're lazy, Princess Manchuri won't get any better." "But can't we see Princess Manchuri?" As the man fakes a cry, he says that they will catch the disease that she has, and they can only work to make her better, and they believe him because the Tontatas, the dwarves, one of their traits is that they're gullible. So, they're that gullible. And the man at that moment, however, as he's thinking they're so gullible, will be beheaded, leaving the Tontatas shocked. Who are you?" Looking back, they saw others, being killed as well. Those whipping them were left killed, and their bodies were just hanging on the floor, and they were surprised at how they didn't notice until now. But waving forward, Luffy would then cover them with reverse cursed energy. They see their wounds heal and wonder who this man is and why he was so scary. "Ah, you're so adorable, like dwarves." "Huh? That was so deceiving," they all thought, as he now turned kind of like, a buffoon. And one of them said that they were dwarves and said that they had to go back to work. "If we don't, our princess will be killed." Left shocked by this, Luffy would then say they can just go see her, and because they care more about seeing her than catching the disease, they follow Luffy. Also, they're gullible. They forget things that are important like that sometimes. And he leads them to they lead him to where she's being held, but find nothing. They have been tricked and have their gullible, naive nature used on them. As their left anger, Luffy cannot believe how deep this goes, but the fakeness is coming undone. And Dressrosa and warriors look for King Riku and storm the stadium, the Colosseum, where people have fled with their loved ones and they want to escape. They go, they just go everywhere. They just try to run out. The warriors would go underground and take a pathway which leads them to a long way until they find a pit full of pirates behind a cell, and they have fought in Block C for the tournament, but they were just put away like in the original, and this included Cavendish and many others. And yeah, Riku was posing as a fighter by the name of Ricky, but no longer had to hide his identity, and was shocked when he saw his comrades, the people that used to work under him. Her Majesty, we're finally here to end this. As they bow to the king, he is overjoyed with Sidon screaming, so this is where you were hiding, huh? We wonder what was wrong. And that's how we gather here, the rulers exclaimed. This shouldn't even be possible, King Riku said. But as they begin to actually fall and everything shakes, they're about to fall underground very deep and brace for impact when they freeze mid-air, and this includes the giant hydrogen. Hey, you guys okay? Looking down, they see Luffy and are left shot by the Emperor being present. So he really was here. What was all that shaking? Oh! They're then dropped by Luffy, who has an army of dwarves behind him, and Luffy asks if they're okay, and the king will then make his way forward after getting up. Did you free my men? Getting a dead stare, Luffy will then say that the sugar woman is dead. Oh, I don't know about Dofi, but he won't last long. The king and his people were kind of shocked at how easily this is being solved, but the little dwarf said that he can be trusted, and he saved them as well. I need to go and beat up Dofi. Well, after dirtying up my face, that bastard's got it coming, said Cavendish. Hydrogen pounds his fist together, saying, this cannot be forgiven. Now let's go find and finish off that bastard. Yeah, thanks, Straw Hat. As for Dofi, after crashing far off, even right now he was healing his wounds and meticulously using his strings to stick himself back together, and then he finally stood, and he was heaving. I saw everything going up in flames, animals rioting, pirates going crazy, and he was beginning to just seethe with anger. Straw Hat! Straw Hat! Straw Hat! He releases all this anger in an explosion of supreme conqueror's haki, and those who see him are instantly knocked out. As he moves forward, he swings and releases his strings, ripping apart homes and severing innocent people like nothing. I wanted to keep you bastards in the dark, but you know what? Screw it! You can thank Straw Hat for your demise. His monologue is interrupted by the angered Ace, who pounds his head into the pavement, releasing a rupture of cracks that bring Dofi's destruction to a standstill, and the Pirate King's son would then pull his fist back out. Who the hell said you could whine and blame my brother, you fuck? With this one punch, Dofi was left out cold, leaving an imprint of Ace's steaming fist in his skull. As everything came to a stop, and turning around, he saw the destruction, and he waved his hand, releasing a huge bubble of reverse curse energy. Luckily enough, he made it in time and managed to heal all those who were hurt, and this occurrence was so amazing that they could only attribute it to his little brother, the King of Curses, aka Straw Hat. Feel wrong anywhere? Ace asks. Shaking their head in a daze, everyone says no, even the animals, with Ace then breathing a sigh of relief. I recently learned, so I'm glad it kind of worked out. This guy's a pirate, they all thought. This stage just gets weirder and weirder. On another side of the kingdom, we pass over Momo taking down some giant animals while Zoro instructs him and Nami covers him for safety. We see Luffy now bringing the freed dwarves to meet their brethren, allowing them to see their princess, and for Luffy to see Robin, Usopp, and Frankie. Kairos runs and finds Rebecca, and so much happens, but essentially it had come to an end, leaving it at Trafalgar, walking in to see the now leveled Smile Factory, courtesy of Luffy. And now that he is not needed anymore, Caesar was killed. And if they wanted to learn more about Smile Fruit, they would have to simply do it themselves after beating the emperors. I'm just being carried at this point, Trafalgar said. Warlord, huh? We then fade to black. We regather at the castle, the main castle, where those who have fought are now resting in some rooms, and the Stars will then gather in one room as Luffy yells, "What? Sanji, you took on a Big Mom ship? Awesome. Yeah, you can be amazed at my strength. You know what I do?" I could have done that, Zoro said. Yeah, and all you can do is swing. You got no flair. You do know you're in a room with 3 samurai, right? Momo yells, with him then crossing his arms, and Kiyomon is so proud to see him upholding his pride in such a way, as is Kanjuro, who has been found, and Zoro just finds it funny how Sanji's being pissed off by being dissed by a kid. But I guess, well, we're on the Big Mom Pirates radars now, Usopp said. Did they say anything? Sanji then said they were going on about killing Luffy, which made them burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha, should we truly be laughing, asked Kanjuro? I'm kinda confused. You don't need to worry, Kanjuro. Luffy Dono is an emperor with 3 billion. What? I thought you were just a really nice guy. Scratching his head, Luffy would say, guilty. The door to that moment is then open to let in Kairos, Bellamy, Bartolomeo, along with Ace and Sabo. Luffy senpai, I came to pledge my allegiance, the clown pirate would say, as he would then slide and kowtow, and a confused Luffy would then ask who he was, and Sabo would then say, apparently he's your biggest fan. I dare not even look up or be blinded by the awesomeness of this crew. But he looks up, of course, and is blinded by the pirates who don't really know what to say because he simply has too much enthusiasm. And Bellamy feeling out of place between these monsters and the guy who literally, like, he tried to assault and like put his superiority over. He just stays quiet. But then Luffy notices Bellamy saying, "Hey, you're that guy." "Alright," Zoro said, "the idiot that was dumb enough to attack when Rika came out." "Good choice." "You attack Luffy? You must be really brave," Chopper said. Robin would then say, "Yes, and what Rika's manifested, it takes quite a lot of stupidity." "I get it, okay? Jeez, how was I supposed to know you were some big shot?" "Alright." That's how he draws you in, Ace says, as he takes a seat, saying that the first time he attacked Luffy, Rika grabbed and almost crushed his spine, sending Sabo and Luffy into laughter because they remember how terrified he was of her back in the old days. And grabbing Ace by the hands, Bartolomeo then asks if he can have details on everything that happened. Rika-senpai's hands feel as rough as described by those who were hurt by her, punched. Yeah, dude, she packs a ton. You really are his biggest fan. Want to see her? As he hears this, he stands and salutes, saying nothing would make him happier, and Luffy would say sure, as Rika would inform. And upon seeing her, Bartolomeo is so happy that he starts to cry, and he asks for a handshake right before then taking a picture with a dial. And Rika would then look to Luffy. "He's weird." "Yeah, but he's nice, don't be mean." "I can't hear you now." "Oh, sorry, Rika is just..." "But it doesn't matter. I got to see Rika-senpai and all my senpais today." As he cheers, they would all think that he's a weird, but he, a pretty good guy. He seems pretty okay. What will happen after, Luffy has not been defeated? What will his defeat bring? What will be the other Emperor's reaction? Find out in the next part of One Piece. Reports are ifs, and I'm done. I'm ending it off here. Peace. I'm gone.
You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him. You should fucking stay with him.